We are still talking about past climates, kids. We're talking about evidences we are collecting from ice cores, from ocean sediments, corals, tree rings, etc. Here we'll talk a little bit about rocks. Rocks are formed geologically, but they move around with the glaciers, as we said, as moraines. They move around with the continents because continents are moving around. And along the way, depending on how old they are, they collect all kinds of signatures, biogeochemical signatures, as we say that. Fossils may be imprinted on rocks, and there may be chemicals that talk about past volcanic eruptions, past CO2 changes, oxygen changes, and so on. And they also lock in the magnetic lines. What do magnetic lines tell us? They tell us at what latitude the rock may have been in the past. So imagine you go and find a piece of rock in India. India is now mostly in the tropics, but you find this rock and you date it using isotopes. Remember isotopes? And it says, well, this rock is, let's say, 200 million years old. Then you look at the magnetic lines, and the magnetic lines say this did not form in the tropics, which means 200 million years ago, this rock was somewhere way away from the tropics. And in fact, it turns out to be coming from the south because India as a subcontinent moved north, crossed the equator, separated from Madagascar and Africa, crashed into the Asian plates, and it still continues to move north and push under the Asian plate and push up the Himalayas. So Himalayas formed from 30 to 10 million years ago, and then monsoons came because as soon as you brought the land close to the equator, you started creating this heating of the land and the ocean, the contrast. Remember, oceans warm slower and cool slower than the land because the heat capacities are different. This is how we do detective work on how past climates have varied, where India was in the past, whether the monsoon was there more than 10 million years ago, and so on, how vegetation changed, how animal species changed. Remember, the grazers that eat a lot of vegetation need vegetation in Africa and India. When did they evolve? Is that related to the climate change over those years? Did people, human beings, our ancestors, walk on two legs all the time? If not, when did they start walking on two legs? Fascinating stuff, kids.